Welcome to the Mad Human Channel. You made it, and now you can rest. Here, you don't need to keep up. You don't need to hold on. You only need to listen. This is your time, your permission to drift, to forget, to remember, and then forget again. Tonight, we begin a journey through the quietest parts of the mind, and we begin with a single breath. Take it now, and as you exhale, let the night take over. A planet that sleeps. Take a deep breath and allow your shoulders to relax. The night has arrived, soft and slow. Across the spinning globe, living things begin to fold into stillness. Birds quiet their songs. Flowers tuck into their petals. Even the ocean, always moving, hums just a little softer. You are part of this gentle rhythm. You, like every other being born of this earth, are built for rest. Before clocks, before beds, even before fire, there was sleep. Sleep isn't a luxury. It is a biological symphony that has echoed through life for over 500 million years. From the tiniest jellyfish, pulsing gently in ocean currents, to the elephant who sleeps standing, listening to the wind, sleep is ancient and sacred. It is not a pause from life, but a continuation in a slower key. Why does Earth sleep? Because the sun rises and then it falls. The first creatures who lived in the shallows of primordial seas learned to listen to light. When the sky brightened, they opened. When it dimmed, they closed. And so began the dance. Light then dark, awake then asleep. We now call this the circadian rhythm. Circa meaning around, diam meaning day. The rhythm of the day. The ticking of our deepest clock. You carry this rhythm inside of you, in every cell, every beat of your heart, every breath you take tonight. In stillness, you are a sleeper, just like the planet that raised you. So rest knowing you are doing exactly what life has always done. Now, let's drift deeper into the mechanics of dreams. Close your eyes. If you haven't already, let the world around you melt just a little. And imagine the earth not as a place of noise and urgency, but as a living, breathing organism, wrapped in a deep blue blanket of quiet. Each night, an invisible signal travels across the land. The light dims, the temperature falls, the sky turns a velvet black, dusted with quiet stars, and almost all life, from the tallest trees to the smallest insects, begins its descent into stillness. Sleep is not a break from nature. It is one of its most universal languages. In the rainforest, sloths hang gently from branches, their breathing soft and rhythmic. In the desert, fennec foxes curl into tiny balls of fur beneath the cool sand. Deep beneath the ocean surface, whales drift vertically in silence, their massive hearts beating slowly, steadily. Even plants, though they do not sleep in the way we do, follow their own quiet patterns of rest. Their leaves fold inward, their growth slows, their internal clocks pause, waiting for the dawn. There is harmony in this, a kind of planetary exhale. Some scientists call it the Earth sleep cycle, but really, it's just life syncing itself with the spin of the world. The Earth turns, and with that turn, we surrender. We trust. We close our eyes and let go. You are not separate from this. Your body is made of atoms born in stars, but your rhythm was shaped by the soft pull of moonlight. Your heartbeat slows at night because evolution whispered to it again and again, it's time to rest. Your skin, your brain, your breath, they all remember the dark. They remember safety in stillness. They remember peace. Sleep isn't a malfunction. It isn't wasted time. It's a biological lullaby, played in every creature, every night. And so here you are, on a planet that sleeps, softly, gently, beautifully. And tonight, you are invited to join in. Take another breath. Feel your chest rise and fall, like a wave, like a leaf on water, like the tides that pull and return, pulled by a sleeping moon. You may have noticed how different sleep feels depending on where you are, what season it is, or how the sky looks outside your window. That's because your internal rhythms are connected, not just to the ticking of a clock, but to something older, wiser, cosmic. Some call it the biological clock, but it's more than a clock. It's a living metronome, a quiet drummer behind the scenes. In your brain, a tiny region no larger than a grain of rice sits just above where your optic nerves cross. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. This little bundle of neurons listens to light. When it senses that the world is bright, it sends signals. Wake up, it's time to move. When darkness falls, it does something magical. It tells your pineal gland to release melatonin, a gentle chemical messenger that whispers to your body, "Sure, it's time to rest." And so you begin to slow. Your blood pressure drops. Your muscles loosen. Your mind, once tangled in thoughts, begins to float. All of this, all of it, was written into your biology long before you were born. You were meant to rest. Sleep is not weakness. It is not laziness. It is not escape. It is how your body returns to the rhythm of the earth, of the cosmos, of everything that sleeps. There is something sacred about this universal need for sleep. From single-celled organisms to the minds of dreaming humans, life is always bowed to the cycle of night and day, always closed its eyes, at least for a little while, to recover, to restore, to remember. In ancient times, sleep wasn't fought or feared. It was trusted. Early humans, lying under open skies, would gaze into the firelight and let their thoughts blur, drifting with the stars, listening to night sounds. Owls, insects, whined through tall grass. They didn't ask why sleep was necessary. They just knew it was. Before science, there was sensation. Before explanation, there was instinct. And even now, despite the modern world's glowing screens and endless clocks, that same instinct lives within you. That soft pull towards stillness, that yearning to close your eyes and simply be for a while. You don't need to earn sleep. You don't need to justify it. You are part of a world that sleeps, and in doing so, heals. Now, let's travel for a moment, not forward in time, but outward in space. Imagine the earth from above, suspended in the void, wrapped in soft clouds, lit from one side by the golden warmth of the sun, and from the other by a vast blanket of shadow. Half the world sleeps while the other half wakes. Always. There is never a moment when the earth is fully awake, nor a moment when it is fully asleep. It is a living yin and yang, a breathing, rotating lullaby. Every 24 hours, it rocks all life into gentle submission. This is not random. It is rhythm. It is ancient choreography of stars, light, rotation, chemistry, and instinct. All of it designed for rest. Now let your thoughts float just a little further. Think of sleep not as shutting down, but as a shifting of gears. When you fall asleep, your brain doesn't stop. In fact, in many ways, it becomes more active, dancing through waves, sorting memories, tending to thoughts like a quiet gardener. But that is for another chapter. For now, we are still exploring sleep as a landscape, a natural part of Earth's language, a planet that spins, yet always invites stillness, a planet where even volcanoes rest, where rivers slow in winter, where trees whisper in sleep to their roots and rings. Yes, even the ground beneath you, it too holds a rhythm, a pulsing planetary heartbeat, called the Schumann resonance. It hums around 7.83 hertz, a slow, deep vibration that some believe our bodies are tuned to. Whether or not you believe it, it's comforting to think that the very soil under your feet is not silent, but singing a quiet song, a song of rest, a song of home. Take another long, soft breath. Feel the weight of your body being held, not just by your bed or your blanket, but by gravity, by the pull of Earth itself. You are cradled every night, whether you know it or not. And just like the sea follows the moon, your brain follows that inner pull towards slowness. toward surrender. You may try to fight it, with light, with noise, with caffeine, with worry, but eventually the world will win, the rhythm will win, your body, older than your thoughts, will find its way back to sleep, and when it does, you return to the same timeless truth, that rest is not retreat, it is rebirth in the silence of night, when the air grows cooler and the light begins to dim. You might feel a familiar softness wrap around you. That's not just the night air. It's your biology responding to millions of years of memory. You're not falling asleep. You're returning to something ancient, to something shared by all living things. Every species, no matter how small or strange, has carved out its own pattern of rest. Birds sleep in short bursts, ever alert to danger. Some sleep with one eye open, half their brain resting while the other stays awake. Dolphins, too, do this, swimming slowly, half-conscious, drifting through the sea while letting only one hemisphere of their brain shut down. And even the tiniest creatures, like fruit flies, pause from their busy buzzing to enter their own version of slumber. There is no creature too wild, no being too busy to ignore the pull of sleep, even when life is short, just a few days or a season. Sleep is still there, woven into the story. It is not wasteful. It is not a delay. It is essential to grow, to think, to heal, to survive. Even stars have their own sleep-like cycles, forming in clouds of dust, burning bright, and eventually dimming, slowing, cooling, and resting. The universe itself seems to breathe, and you, right now, in this quiet moment, are part of that great exhale. Let your mind drift like fog. No need to grasp any single thought. They will all return when you're ready. You don't need to remember everything. You don't need to do anything. And so, as chapter 1 comes to a close, know that the rhythm continues. The night stretches on. The world is quiet, and you are safe to drift. We've spoken of the earth and its rhythms, of sleep as a shared inheritance. Now we begin to move inward, deeper into the brain, into the silent gears of dreaming. But for now, float in the stillness just a little longer. Let the planet sleep. Let yourself sleep. Because this slow, gentle surrender is a first step into dreams. As you lie there, still and safe, know this. You are not alone in your stillness. All across the globe, countless others are lying quietly, breathing in unison, beneath the same sleeping sky. The night connects us, across time zones, across languages, across species. It draws a hush across the world, like a soft curtain, reminding us that no matter how different our lives may be, we all sleep, we all return to silence. Even technology, buzzing, glowing, always on, hasn't erased this truth. Inside the most modern bodies still lives the most ancient rhythm, a whisper that says, "Now close your eyes. Let's return for a moment to the stars. Above you the galaxy spins, but ever so slowly, at a pace so vast, it can only be measured in millions of years. Our entire solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way, like a planet within a greater dream. One full rotation takes about 230 million Earth years. Imagine that. One galactic year. One gentle loop through the cosmos. The galaxy sleeps too, but its sleep is long, deep, endless. And from this slow spiral of stars came you, your hands, your thoughts, your body that longed for stillness. At the end of every day, you are cosmic, but you are also human. And the human body was not made for constant motion. Even your brain, the command center of thought and awareness, demands rest. It uses more energy than any other organ, and so each night it dims the lights, lowers the curtains, and begins its silent housekeeping, like a library closing its doors, quietly returning books to their shelves. But let's not go too far ahead. That's for the next chapter. For now, feel how the earth beneath you turns slowly in the vast darkness of space. You don't feel it, not in your feet, not in your bones, but it's turning all the same. rocking you gently, like a cradle made of clouds and stone. You can almost hear it, can't you? That faint, faraway hum, not of engines or machines, but of the world itself, rotating slowly beneath a moonlit sky. And as it does, it rocks every creature toward quiet. Birds hush their songs, trees fall still, and your breathing, steady and slow, joins a lullaby. Sleep is a personal act. It's planetary. When you close your eyes tonight, you're aligning with a pattern older than humanity, older than language, older than memory. Sleep was here before you, and it will be here long after. But tonight, just tonight, you are part of its story. You are the stillness. You are the soft exhale. You are the silence between stars. And so we pause. Let the lights dim in your thoughts. Let your muscles melt. Let your chest rise and fall, like waves returning to shore. No need to rush. No need to change anything. You are exactly where you're meant to be, floating, breathing, resting in the arms of a planet that sleeps. The earth does not simply turn. It breathes, not with lungs, but with cycles, with tides, winds, seasons, with every rise and fall that life has ever known. And when night falls, it's not just a lack of light, it's an invitation, a moment of permission to let go. The more we look at sleep, the more we see. It is everywhere, in every forest, a rhythm, in every creature, a need. Consider the great brown bears. Each winter, they settle into stillness, a slow, metabolic slumber we call hibernation. Their breathing slows, their heartbeat drops, and they wait out the cold months in peace. Or the Arctic ground squirrel, whose body becomes so cold while sleeping, its core temperature can drop below freezing, and yet it wakes in spring unharmed, as though time itself paws around it. Even in the insect world, sleep finds a place. Bees sleep, so do ants, and tiny jumping spiders. Yes, even they curl up in silken hammocks and doze, their legs twitching gently as though caught in tiny dreams. In every corner of earth, sleep finds a way. It arrives like fog, drifting into caves, under leaves, between blades of grass. It wraps itself around the tallest peaks and the darkest ocean trenches. There is nowhere it does not reach, no creature does not touch. And when you fall asleep tonight, you are not slipping away from the world. You are stepping into alignment with it. You are joining the same current that carries the migrating whale, the dreaming wolf, the baby cradled in his mother's arms. You may not realize it, but even in sleep, your body is participating in something greater, something shared. In Japan, the cicadas go silent after sundown. In the Amazon, frogs sing low lullabies from deep within the trees. In the Arctic, wolves curl together for warmth under long polar nights. And across the cities, even now, despite the hum of artificial light, people are curling beneath blankets, phones set aside, breathing just like you, soft and slow. No matter where we are, no matter how advanced our technologies or timelines may seem, we are all still creatures of dusk, creatures of pause, creatures of sleep. Even time, when viewed through the lens of cosmic scale, moves with sleep-like rhythm. Galaxies collide slowly, stars are born in silence, and light takes millions of years to arrive. And here you are, a human being, so small in scale, but filled with that same cosmic softness, a walking rhythm, a body of stars and silence. You are not broken for needing rest. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are natural. You are aligned. Every time you sleep, you return to the most original part of yourself, the part untouched by deadlines, notifications, or expectations. Just biology, just breath, just being. You might wonder, why does the planet require this pause? Because life isn't meant to be constant. Nothing is. The sun has its flares and its calms. The ocean has its tides. The trees have their seasons. You too are meant to ebb and flow, to burn bright and then dim, to reach out and then return inward. Sleep is not an interruption. It is the natural conclusion of wakefulness, a gentle reminder that even the most powerful systems need stillness to thrive. Let the hush of this truth settle around you, like mist through tall grass, like moonlight resting on water. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, here, now, breathing in the rhythm of a sleeping planet. You don't need to achieve anything in this moment. There is no goal, no next step, only this. You are alive, you are tired, and the earth is turning. Sleep will take care of the rest. Crescent Moon Chapter 2. The mechanics of dreaming. You've begun to drift. The edges of your thoughts are soft now, like clouds unraveling in a twilight sky. You may still be aware of the world around you, the quiet room, the blanket wrap around you, but something inside is shifting. This is a threshold, not quite awake, not quite asleep, a space in between, and as you cross it, your brain begins to dance, slow, rhythmic, ancient. It is the beginning of your journey into dreams. Every night, when you surrender to sleep, your brain doesn't shut down. It shifts like a grand theater. The lights dim, the audience quiets, and behind the curtain, a new performance begins. Sleep happens in waves, in cycles, not all at once. You move through stages, from light sleep to deep rest, and eventually into dreaming. These stages are not random. They're carefully choreographed, repeated again and again, in loops of about 90 minutes each. Over the course of a full night's sleep, you'll pass through 4 or 5 of these loops, each one dipping deeper, then rising toward the surface again. Let's walk through these, slowly, one by one. Stage 1, the gentle descent. The first stage is like the shoreline of sleep. You're still aware, but distant. Your muscles relax, your heartbeat slows, your eyelids grow heavy, fluttering gently. Sometimes during the stage, you may feel yourself suddenly jerk awake, a sensation called a hypnic jerk. It's your body, unsure if it's safe to let go, but it is, and soon you sink further. Stage 2, drifting inward. Here, your brain waves slow. They ripple in patterns called sleep spindles, sudden bursts of electrical activity, like stars flickering in a dark sky. Your body temperature drops. Your awareness of the room begins to fade. Breathing deepens. Muscles loosen. This is a stage where your body begins its real rest. And then, deeper still, stage 3, deep sleep, also called slow wave sleep or delta sleep. This is where the mind grows quietest and the body does its healing. Cells repair, tissues grow, energy is restored, your immune system strengthens. If someone were to wake you during this stage, you'd feel disoriented, pulled to quickly from a deep ocean. This is the most restful stage of sleep, and the most protective. It guards your body, it strengthens your memory, it prepares you for the day ahead. But this stage doesn't last long, because soon your brain begins to stir, not toward waking, but toward something else, something stranger, more vivid, dreaming. You pass through the quiet valleys of deep sleep, and now your brain begins to rise again, not all the way to wakefulness, but to a curious, vivid place. This is REM sleep, rapid eye movement, named for the way your eyes flutter behind closed lids, not randomly, but as though watching something only you can see. This is a stage where dreams bloom. Stage 4, REM sleep, the dreaming brain. Your muscles, now fully relaxed, are temporarily paralyzed, a protective stillness, so you don't act out your dreams. But your brain, it becomes more active than when you're awake. The electrical signals pulse through your cortex, your limbic system lights up, and your imagination takes the reins. In REM sleep, your brain becomes a painter, with no brush, no canvas, just color and movement and emotion. Time loses shape, memories shift, stories unfold without logic. One moment you're flying, the next you're underwater, talking to someone long gone, or walking through a city that never existed. And yet, it all feels real, because here in dreams, The mind is free to wander without gravity. But why do we dream? Scientists still don't agree. Some say it's the brain's way of sorting memory, cleaning the mental shelves, putting thoughts into place. Others say it's emotional housekeeping, allowing you to process feelings your waking self didn't know how to face. Still others believe it's creativity unchained, a playground where your unconscious explores ideas, connects dots, and finds inspiration in symbols and shadows. And maybe it's all those things, or none. Maybe dreaming is simply part of being alive, a nightly voyage into the unknown, with no purpose but wonder. Your dreams may feel surreal, disjointed, but behind them lies an orchestra of biology. Your amygdala, seat of emotion, is wide awake in REM sleep. That's why dreams feel so intense. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic and self-awareness, is quiet. That's why your dreams often ignore the rules of the real world. And your hippocampus, the library of memory, is busy cross-referencing your past, pulling scenes and faces from years ago. All of this happening while you lie still, breathing, sleeping, floating. Most people cycle into REM sleep about 90 minutes after falling asleep. Then again and again, with each cycle, the REM stage grows longer, from a few minutes to nearly an hour in the early morning. That's why your most vivid dreams often come just before you wake. Your brain saves the best for last. Those rich, detailed landscapes of impossible cities, of flying, of floating, of falling. And then you return. You may not remember it. Most dreams dissolve within minutes. Some vanish entirely. But your body remembers. Your brain remembers. It has swept the rooms, washed the windows, danced through memories, and stitched new pathways. While you slept, sleep is an idleness. It's renovation. And dreaming, that's the art of it. Take a slow breath in. Feel your chest rise. And as you exhale, know this. You just travel further than you think. Not across land, not across time, but into yourself, into the silent machinery that keeps your mind alive, fluid, and quietly healing. This is the beauty of the sleeping brain. It never stops being curious, even in sleep, especially in sleep. As you rest, your brain does not simply entertain itself with stories. It restores. Every thread of a dream is stitched from memory, not always as you knew it, but rearranged, remixed, softened. When you dream, your brain revisits the past, sometimes days ago, sometimes decades, and walks through it, not to relive, but to re-understand. Memory in the dreaming mind. In sleep, your brain becomes a general librarian. It decides which memories to keep and which to let fade into quietness. During deep sleep, it files away facts, what you learned, what you practice, what you try to remember. But in REM sleep, it takes those memories and begins to connect them. A face from childhood might appear beside a moment from yesterday. A familiar house might twist into a new shape. You may speak with someone who's gone, not to revive grief, but to reshape it. This isn't confusion, it's healing. The dreaming brain doesn't always seek accuracy, it seeks understanding. Sometimes what you feel in a dream is more important than what you see. A quiet joy, a subtle fear, a sense of being chased, or loved, or safe, or unseen. These feelings are like the emotional fingerprints of your inner world. Your mind is making things up. It's expressing what couldn't be spoken while awake. A sigh held too long, a memory you weren't ready for, an emotion without a name. All of it finds shape in the gentle theater of dreaming. Dreaming and emotional healing. When we are awake, emotions can be heavy, complicated, tangled, but in dreams, the knots begin to loosen. Studies have shown that people who dream about difficult events often feel calmer in the days after. It's as though the mind replays the moment, not to obsess, but to smooth the sharp edges. This is why dreams may revisit things we thought we'd buried, not to hurt us, but to give us one more chance to feel what needed feeling, then let it go. Dreaming is the body's quiet therapy, free of words, free of judgment, just symbols and sensations, flowing gently beneath consciousness. And then there's creativity. Some of the greatest ideas in human history were born in sleep. Einstein imagined riding alongside a beam of light. Paul McCartney heard the melody of Yesterday in a dream. Mary Shelley's vision of Frankenstein emerged from a strange and stormy night of restless sleep. This isn't coincidence. It's permission. When logic sleeps, imagination rises. And in the soft theater of RAM, impossible ideas become real enough to explore. Dreams are where the mind lets go of boundaries. And sometimes that's exactly what's needed. And so you dream, not for entertainment, not for distraction, but because your brain is always working on your behalf, quietly, gently, and with deep compassion. Each night, it walks through your memories, tends your emotions, and paints stories in the soft ink of sleep. And you simply rest. You allow it to happen, even when you don't remember, even when you think nothing happened at all. Inside you, a whole world turned and healed itself. So as you lie here, perhaps already floating for the edges of dreams, let this truth settle softly into you. Your sleep matters. Your dreams matter, even the strange ones, even forgotten ones. They are not random static. They are songs your brain sings when no one is listening but you. Now take another breath. Let your mind stay soft. Let your thoughts stay loose. You don't need to catch your dreams. You just need to let them come. They'll find you, just like sleep did, quietly, on their own. As you continue to drift deeper into the rhythm of sleep, you may notice that your dreams speak in strange languages, not of words, but of images, places that don't exist, people who shift like fog, moments that feel familiar, even though you've never lived them. This is the language of the unconscious. It doesn't use grammar. It uses symbols. The symbolic mind. In waking life, we use logic. We filter, define, and explain. But dreaming bypasses that gatekeeper. Your dreaming mind doesn't ask, "Does this make sense?" It asks, "How does this feel?" And so you may find yourself walking through an endless hallway, opening a door that leads to the ocean, or speaking with someone who has no face, yet you know exactly who they are. This isn't randomness, it's resonance. Each object, each place, each face is a symbol drawn from your personal library of experience. A hallway may represent transition. An ocean may echo your emotions. A child, a parent, a stranger, they may all be fragments of yourself, not to confuse you, but to show you something quiet, something real. And yet, dreams don't always soothe. Sometimes they stir, they challenge, they show us fears we didn't want to face. These are not punishments, they are messages. Even nightmares have their place. They draw out what was buried, so that healing may begin. They remind us that rest is not always passive. Sometimes it's the deep work of releasing what's been held too long. Your brain, even in its sleep, wants what's best for you. It sifts through your memories, searches for patterns, and then weaves stories in the language of symbols. And though the stories are strange, they are always yours, unique, private, sacred. Even the dreams you forget have done their work. The moment they pass through you, they change something inside, a feeling, a memory, a moment of reflection that ripples quietly through the next day. And so, each night, your brain becomes a traveler, not across countries, but through landscapes of the mind, a quiet observer of inner weather, where clouds shift, where light bends, where the inner seasons change. It journeys not to escape, but to remember, to recalibrate, to soften, to soothe. Dreams do not need to be understood. They only need to be respected, listened to. You don't need to decode every symbol. You don't need to control the story. All you need is to allow, to let the waves of sleep carry you from one shore to the next, quietly, gently, faithfully. Just as the earth spins, without your asking, your dreams will come without your chasing. They are not a puzzle, they are poetry. So breathe again, softly, deeply, and let your mind remain open, not alert, not busy, just receptive, because dreams are not a problem to solve. They are a song that only the sleeping mind can hear. Now take a breath and let the dream world continue its quiet unfolding. You are safe, you are still, and your dreaming brain is exactly where it's meant to be. Sometimes you find yourself inside a dream, and you know it, not after the fact, but in the middle of it, as if a tiny candle of awareness flickers to life. Inside the sleeping mind, you realize this isn't real, and yet it feels more real than anything. This is known as lucid dreaming, a rare quiet clarity, like seeing your reflection in a still lake at the edge of night. Lucid dreaming, a brief illumination. Lucid dreams don't happen to everyone, and for most, they come only once in a while, like fireflies blinking in a vast, dark field. But when they do arrive, they remind us just how delicate the boundary between waking and sleeping truly is. In a lucid dream, you may fly, you may speak to a memory, you may simply stand and observe, watching a dream unfold with silent awe. Some people use these moments to heal, to ask questions, to face fears in a place where no real harm can come. But even then, the dream remains gentle, unfolding as it chooses, drifting back into soft forgetfulness, because even in lucidity, you are still resting, still floating, still safe. Recurring dreams, echoes in the dark. There are dreams that return, not nightly, but again and again. Familiar scenes, familiar shapes, sometimes changing only slightly. These are recurring dreams. They are not punishments, and they are not prophecies. They are echoes. Your mind revisiting something it hasn't yet resolved, a feeling left unexplored, a pattern not yet broken, a story still waiting for its ending. You may walk the same hallway. You may search for the same person. You may arrive at the same cliff just before you wake. And though these dreams may seem confusing, they are invitations, not to figure everything out, but to pay attention, to listen, to be kind to what returns, because what repeats often longs to be seen. The borderlands asleep, and then there's that quiet, in-between place, just before sleep takes you completely, or just before your eyes. Your body is still asleep, but your mind is barely stirring. A dim room, a distant hum. In this space, you may hear soft whispers of thought that feel not quite yours. You may see flickers of images, not quite dreams, not quite memories. This is a hypnagogic state, the gentle descent. And on the other side, when you begin to rise in the morning, there is hypnopompic light, the soft descent. These borderlands are fragile, easily lost, but strangely powerful. Many artists, writers, and thinkers have drawn inspiration from these floating moments when the mind is unguarded and the world is made a metaphor. You may not remember them, but they shape you, like wind shapes sand, quietly, slowly, night after night, a final drift. And so, dear dreamer, you now know a little more about the mysterious work your brain does while you sleep. It slows, it repairs, it drifts, it imagines, it brings you face to face with symbols, memories, emotions, and unknown places, all without ever leaving your bed. You are a dreamer, whether you remember your dreams or not. You are a traveler, whether or not you know the path. And each night, as your body rests, your mind sails out quietly into the dark, silver sea of dreams, guided only by instinct and the slow pull of sleep itself inside your skull. Beneath the surface of thought and awareness, your brain hums with waves, electrical rhythms, not loud, not sharp, but slow, like ripples in still lake. These rhythms shift as you sleep. They are your mind's secret language, a nightly symphony playing softly through the stages of rest, the music of brain waves. When you're awake and alert, your brain emits beta waves, quick, sharp, purposeful, focused, structured, always looking outward. As you relax, beta gives way to alpha waves, slower, gentler. These are the waves of calm attention, meditation, the peaceful hum of quiet wakefulness. And then, as you drift closer to sleep, alpha fades. The brain begins to produce theta waves, slow pulses, linked to memory, to creativity, to the dreamy thoughts that float up just before sleep fully takes hold. In deep sleep, you enter the realm of delta waves, the slowest of all, long, deep strokes, like a cello drawn across the body of the night. These waves are vital. They are not just signs of sleep. They are the engine of healing. They restore tissues, support the immune system, cleanse the brain of waste, through a system known as a glymphatic pathway. Yes, even your brain has its own version of housekeeping. All of this, the waves, the rhythms, the repairs, happens quietly, without your effort, while you rest, when dreams are interrupted. But sometimes, the flow is disturbed. Sleep doesn't come easily. Dreams don't appear. Or if they do, they feel jagged, unsettling, or simply vanish the moment you open your eyes. This is not failure. It is not weakness. It is simply a signal, a whisper from the body that something is off balance. It could be stress, too much light, too much noise, or just too many thoughts asking to be held all at once. The world moves fast, but sleep moves slow, and sometimes the two fall out of step. The dream that waits. When dreams are quiet, when they don't arrive, or vanish too quickly to catch, know that they are not gone. They are waiting, resting. Your mind, like the moon, has phases. Some nights are full of dreams, others nearly blank. Both are natural, just as a tree does not bear fruit every day. Your dreaming brain needs time to replenish, to prepare the canvas. And even when the dreams seem gone, the brain is still working, still organizing, still healing, still flowing in quiet waves. So if tonight you dream, welcome it, let it unfold. And if tonight you do not, rest anyway. Let the darkness be enough. Let the breath be enough. Let the body, still and soft, be enough. Because a dream will return, as sure as a tide, as sure as the earth turning beneath your pillow. Sleep isn't about performance. It is about trust. And your body knows what to do. You are safe. You are whole. You are part of something ancient. This long, uninterrupted rhythm of sleep and dream and waking once more. Let yourself float in that rhythm now. No rush, no expectation, just stillness and the quiet music of your sleeping mind. You may not feel it, but while you sleep, your brain is being washed, not in the way water scrubs your skin, but in a deeper, quieter rhythm, one you never see, but always need. This is the work of the glymphatic system, a hidden river that awakens only when you rest, the brain's nightly cleanse. Your brain, though it seems solid, is a soft, living sponge, full of vessels, neurons, and tiny channels that wind between cells. Throughout the day, as you think, move, speak, and feel, your brain creates waste, not garbage you can see, but microscopic byproducts of activity, like smoke after fire, or footprints after journey. These waste molecules, including a protein called beta amyloid, which has been linked to Alzheimer's, build up slowly over time, and your brain knows this. So it creates a system, quiet and elegant, to wash itself clean. But here's the wonder. The system only switches on when you sleep. As you drift into deep, slow wave sleep, your brain cells shrink, opening up tiny channels between them. Cerebrospinal fluid, a clear, gentle liquid, begins to flow through those spaces, flushing away toxins, cooling the brain, restoring balance. This flow is not fast, not dramatic. It moves like moonlight through water, silent, constant, essential. And as the fluid moves, your brain becomes clearer, more stable, more able to greet the next day with clarity and calm. Sleep isn't just rest, it's renewal. Every hour you sleep, your brain is rebalancing. It's not passive, it's deeply active, doing work that waking life will never allow. That's why sleep deprivation feels heavy, not just in your body, but in your mind, because without that cleansing cycle, the world becomes harder to process. Thoughts feel sticky, emotions feel louder, memories blur. Sleep doesn't just refresh you, it returns you to yourself. And yet, this process is invisible. It asks nothing of you. It requires no effort. You simply lie down, close your eyes, let go, and the brain takes care to rest, sending its silent rivers through you, soft as snow melt, steady as breath. In this way, sleep is more than stillness. It is a journey inward to the places that cannot be reached. When you are busy, awake, distracted, in dreams you sail through memory. In deep sleep, your body repairs. And beneath it all, the brain restores its own environment, flushing, balancing, renewing, night after night, quietly, faithfully. So now as you lie here, perhaps somewhere between waking and sleep, know that your mind is preparing itself, not just for dreaming, but for cleansing, for healing. You don't need to understand every step. You don't need to feel it happen. You only need to rest, because your brain knows what to do. And sleep, slow, gentle sleep, is the path it follows, to find its balance once more. Symbols in the dark, dreams through ancient cultures, before science whispered its explanations, before REM sleep and neural pathways, before anyone knew what a brainwave was, humans dreamed, and they wondered, why did I see my grandmother in the clouds? Why did I fly above a sea I've never visited? What does it mean when I lose my voice in the dark? To early people, dreams were not noise. They were not random. They were messages from gods, from ancestors, from the soul itself. The dream temples of ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago, on the banks of the Nile, Egyptians looked to their dreams as sacred guidance. They believed dreams were visits from the divine, a moment where the gods brushed the edge of your mind, leaving symbols behind like footprints in sand. Pharaohs, priests, and common people alike would visit temples asleep, sacred sanctuaries designed for intentional dreaming. There, they would lie on stone beds, in total silence, hoping to receive a dream from a god, often Thoth, the deity of wisdom and magic, or Serapis, the healer. These dream temples were called incubation chambers, places to birth visions. A person would sleep, and in the morning, they would tell their dream to a temple priest, who would gently interpret the message, drawing meaning from the dream symbols. To the Egyptians, dreams were not private, they were public and holy, a kind of celestial whisper meant to guide the living. The Greeks and the healing sleep of Asclepios. Far to the north, the Greeks, too, built temple for dreaming. But here, the dreams were not just divine, they were medicinal. These were the Asclepians, healing sanctuaries named after Asclepios, the god of medicine and dreams. Sick and troubled people would travel for days to lie down in these peaceful column holes. There, among sacred springs and gentle incense, they would enter a healing sleep called incubation. They believed that in their dreams, Asclepios would appear, sometimes in human form, sometimes as a gentle serpent, and offer guidance, or even healing through vision alone. In the morning, priests would listen, and the dream would become prescription, a map for the soul, written in metaphor, dreams as prophecy in Mesopotamia. In the great empires of Babylonia and Assyria, dreams were woven into the fabric of kingship. Tablets carved in cuneiform describe dreams of fire, stars, rivers, all believed to carry prophecy. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest stories ever told, is filled with dreams, Before battles, before journeys, before decisions of fate, dreams are consulted like oracles. There were entire classes of dream interpreters, trained to read the symbols, as one might read stars or omens in smoke. To dream of a river meant flow, of falling meant judgment, of eating meant the arrival of new ideas. They believed that while the body slept, the soul left the body, traveled to the gods, and returned with visions, a kind of spiritual correspondence across oceans beneath another sky. Ancient China viewed dreams not only as stories, but as real experiences of the spirit. The philosopher Zhuangzi once told a dream. He dreamed he was a butterfly, floating, light, free. But when he awoke, he wondered, am I Zhuangzi, who dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming that I am Zhuangzi? It was not a riddle. It was a reflection, a soft unraveling of the line between reality and dream. To the early Chinese, dreams were a journey of the soul. While the body rested, the spirit wandered, sometimes to the ancestors, sometimes to heaven, sometimes other realms beyond the veil. Dreams were a mirror, not always clear, but always deep, and within the teachings of Taoism, dreams were part of nature's rhythm, a yin to the waking world's yang, balance, Vedic India and the subtle body. Farther west, the ancient sages of India explored dreams through the lens of inner consciousness. In the Upanishads, the sacred philosophical texts, sleep is more than rest. It is one of the four states of the self. Waking is outward, dreaming is inward, deep sleep is beyond form, and pure consciousness, called Turiya, is the silence that holds them all. Dreams, in this view, are not distractions. They are clues, glimpses of the subtle body, whispers from the soul. According to these teachings, what you see in dreams may be drawn from past lives, or impressions samskaras, stored deep in the unconscious. Even gods and sages are said to appear in dreams, not as illusions, but as guides through the layered mind. Dreams were not to be feared, nor dismissed, but honored as real, as sacred, as meaningful. Dreams among Native American tribes. Across the great forests and plains of the Americas, many Native American traditions treated dreams as one of the most powerful forms of communication, a direct line between the self, the spirit world, and the natural order. Among the Ojibwe people, a sacred object was created, the dream catcher, woven like a spider's web. It was hung above sleeping children to protect them. It was said that good dreams knew their way. They would pass through the hole in the center, drifting gently down the feathers to the sleeper below. But bad dreams, confused, tangled, would be caught in the web and fade with the morning light. To the Lakota, dreams were sacred gifts. They could carry prophecy, healing, or instruction from ancestors and spirits. Young people were encouraged to listen to their dreams, to seek vision quests, solitary time in nature, to fast, to reflect, to sleep, and to dream with purpose. In all of these traditions, whether in stone temples, bamboo huts, or forest shelters, there's a common thread. Dreams are not waste. They are windows to another realm, to your inner self, to something older than language. Dreams were not dismissed, but studied, recorded, passed on, shared in fireside circles and family rituals. And even now, in our modern age, where so much is measured, where everything moves quickly, dreams remain unmeasured, unspoken, soft. They wait in the dark, offering not answers, but images, feelings, stories without titles. And in that, they remain unchanged, just as mysterious and just as sacred as they were to those before us. Across deserts and mountains, across jungles, ice fields, and oceans, people have always dreamed, long before telescopes, before clocks, before we could scan the sleeping brain. We watched the stars and listened to the voice that spoke in dreams. We dream by firelight. We dream beneath open skies. We dreamed on mats, on temple floors, on the ground beside rivers, and always we wondered, what does it mean when the dead speak, when animals talk, when the sky falls or the earth opens, or we fly without wings? These dreams weren't discarded. They were tarried, woven into prayers, etched into cave walls, told again and again like quiet myths, passed from one sleeping soul to another. There is something timeless here, something older than writing, older than science, older than names. Dreams are where we meet the mystery, where we remember that we are not only bodies, but stories, that we are not only flesh, but meaning. Even now, as you rest here, you are part of this ancient chain. You too will dream, and in your dream, you may walk where your ancestors walked. You may visit lands that never were. You may receive messages that no one else can hear, and that is no small thing, because every dream, no matter how strange or fleeting, is part of a great river, a river that connects every sleeping mind, from pharaohs to forest dwellers, from queens to quiet children, all breathing under the same moon, all dreaming under the same stars. So let yourself dream, and dream deeply, for in that dreaming, you are not alone. You are accompanied by thousands of years of seekers, healers, poets, and mystics, each one lying as you lie now, soft and still beneath the night, listening for a message carried not by voice, but by vision. And perhaps tonight, your dream will become a story too, one you carry gently into the lighter morning, soft around the edges, but shining with something. You don't need to explain, only feel. In dreams, the boundaries of self dissolve. You are no longer just you. You become water, wind, a stranger's voice, a forest on fire, a god in disguise. This is why, for so many cultures, dreams were not just messages, but portals to another world, to the future, to the spirit realm. Dreams as destiny, the mythic path. In the myths of ancient peoples, a dream often marked a turning point, a warning, a transformation. The Greek hero Odysseus, after years of war and wandering, was guided home by dreams. The Egyptian dreamer Joseph, sold into slavery, rose to power through his ability to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, not just as riddles, but as prophecies. In the Old Testament, angels came to men in sleep, whispering truths they could not hear by day. In the Bhagavad Gita, the entire battlefield of Kurukshetra is itself a kind of dreamlike vision, a divine revelation given through suspended time, where Arjuna must confront both war and wisdom within the quiet stillness of Krishna's voice. And in the high Himalayas, Tibetan Buddhists speak of the bardo, a dreamlike space between death and rebirth, a realm of shifting visions, where the soul encounters its own reflections before returning to life once more. To them, the dream world is not separate from the spiritual world. It is one of its many doors. Dreams and initiation. In some African traditions, a child becomes an adult, not through age alone, but through a dream, a vision received in solitude, a visitation from a spirit or ancestor, an inner knowing that signals it is time to lead, to heal, to speak for the village. The dream is initiation, the proof. To be called in a dream is to be marked, not by force, but by quiet recognition. From the other side of the veil, sacred sleep and the moon. Throughout the world, dreams have always been linked with the moon, not only because the moon rises with night, but because it, too, waxes and wanes, appears and disappears, changes form while still remaining itself. In many myths, the moon is a dreamkeeper, a guardian of sleep, a soft lantern in the sky, watching over all those who wander in dreams. To dream under a full moon was thought to carry more power, more truth, more vision. Even now, many people feel their dreams change, with the lunar cycle growing stranger, brighter, more vivid as the moon swells. It is not superstition, it is rhythm, the body and the moon, have always spoken the same silent language, the universal dream. And so we come to this. Though cultures differ, though gods were different names, and symbols shift from forest to desert, the experience of dreaming is universal. A child in modern Tokyo dreams with the same awe as a priestess in ancient Thebes. A grandfather in Nairobi may see his father in sleep, just as a hunter in Ice Age Europe once dreamed of mammoths and firelight. We all close our eyes. We all drift inward. We all cross the invisible line into a world without clocks. And there, in that secret space, we remember something older than memory. So, tonight, as you drift toward your own dreams, you are not just sleeping. You are stepping into a river that has flowed through every age, every tribe, every sacred story whispered in the dark. You are dreaming as the world has always dreamed, softly, silently, with wonder. There's something tender about the way humans once gathered around dreams. In the soft hours before dawn, some villages would rise slowly, gathering by fire or water, and begin their day with this question: what did you dream last night? It wasn't small talk. It wasn't curiosity. It was a kind of soul check, a way of reading not just the night, but the self, because they believed that what we dream is what we are not yet ready to say. The dream is a mirror of the soul. For many ancient peoples, dreams were a reflection, not just of the divine, but of the dreamer's own heart. To dream of water might mean your emotions are in motion. To dream of being lost might mean your spirit is searching. To dream of birth might mean a new chapter is unfolding within you, even if you haven't seen it yet. They did not see dreams as nonsense. They saw them as messages, written in metaphor, coded in images, spoken in the only language the soul sometimes understands. Symbol. There was no shame in strange dreams, no embarrassment in fear. To dream of falling, of being chased, of failing, was not weakness, it was honesty. And to share a dream was not to boast, it was to open, like showing a journal, written in invisible ink. And so, in these cultures, dreams stitch people together. Elders would offer wisdom. Children would be encouraged to remember. Dreams were not lost upon waking. They were brought back to the village, like wildflowers or fruit, a gift, a message, a chance to understand one another more deeply. Dreams as moral compass. In some traditions, dreams were also tests of the heart. To see yourself lying in a dream, stealing or causing harm, was not punishment. It was an invitation to reflect. It asked, are you aligned? Are you living as your soul wishes? The dream became a gentle mirror, showing you not who you are, but who you are becoming. Dream sharing is ritual. Among the Aboriginal people of Australia, dreams are not just personal stories. They are part of the dreaming, the great, ongoing creation story of the world. Dreams connect the individual to the ancestors, to the land, to the laws that govern balance and harmony. In this view, every dream echoes something sacred, not just inside the dreamer, but in the whole world. And to forget your dreams was to drift away from that sacred map. To remember was to stay close. So we see now that in ancient cultures, dreams were not just strange flickers of the mind. They were truth in disguise. They helped people navigate choices, process emotions, commune with the spirit world, and align their lives with something more gentle, more eternal. And even now, this wisdom remains, not always in temples or rituals, but in the soft, quiet moment when you wake from a dream and pause just long enough to feel that something inside you has shifted. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to understand it. You only have to notice, because a dream, even when forgotten, has already done its work. So sleep now, and if you dream, may it carry some echo of the old world's magic, not just a story, but a truth softly told, across every age, every land, every language. Humans have always closed their eyes and entered another world, and though the gods may have changed, the symbols may have shifted, the temples may have turned to dust, the dreaming never stopped, because dreaming is not a tradition, it is not a belief, it is a birthright. When a baby sleeps, they twitch and smile in dreams, as if remembering a world before this one. When an elder dreams, they walk again with those long gone, as if the veil between here and beyond has thinned just enough for one more meeting. And when you sleep, when you slip quietly beneath your own surface, you enter that same river that once carried prophets, poets, and philosophers. You float beside them now, not behind them, not below them, but beside, because you are dreaming, too. And the symbols you see, the staircases, the animals, the stars, the lost keys and open doors, are just as sacred as any carved on temple walls. Tonight, you may walk with a figure you don't recognize, or fly through skies that never existed. You may find yourself back in your childhood home, or stepping into a city built of moonlight and mist. Whatever you see, know this: you are not lost. You are being shown, not in words, but in feeling, in image, in knowing that bypasses logic, and speaks instead to the part of you that is ancient, still, and full of wonder. In every dream, there is a door, and each night you are invited to walk through it, not to escape this world, but to understand it more softly, more deeply, through the symbols, through the stories, through the sleeping self that never stops listening. So rest now, let the symbols come, let the dream speak. You are not just drifting into sleep, you are returning to a place humans have always known, even before they had names for it, a place of mystery, a place of memory, a place of meaning. You are entering the world behind the eyelids, the world of sacred dreaming. In the end, no matter the temple, the story, the scroll, or the stars, every dream is yours, not because you own it, but because it knows you. It rises not from books, not from rituals, but from the deepest place in you, the place where memory and imagination become the same soft breath. You may not write your dreams in a journal. You may not share them at breakfast. You may forget them entirely by noon. Still they come, night after night, whispering beneath the noise of day. And even the ones you forget, they touch something. They ripple through you, like music through walls, because you were never meant to be fully awake all the time. The human spirit was designed to wander, to close its eyes, to soften, to loosen its grip on reason, and reach instead for wonder. And that's what dreaming offers. Not always answers, rarely clarity, but something better, a sense that you are not alone, that inside you lives an entire landscape of stories, a sacred geography, lit not by logic, but by moonlight. And so, the ancients built temples, but you already carry one inside. It opens when you sleep, it speaks without sound, and inside it, the dream awaits, soft, slow, silent, just as it has for thousands of years, and just as it will again. Tonight, why we dream, modern theories and soft science. The question is as old as firelight and bone, as old as the stars that watched over first sleepers. Why do we dream? Why does the brain, in the depth of night, weave images, stories, feelings, sometimes chaotic, sometimes breathtaking, while the body lies still? Science has studied this, but even science, with all its tools and data, still speaks in gentle maybes, soft theories, probabilities that never quite settle into truth. Dreaming is not a problem solved. It is a mystery to sit beside. Let's sit with it together. The memory weaver theory. One of the most supported ideas is this, that dreams are the brain's way of sorting memory. During the day, your mind gathers information, thousands of tiny impressions, a glance, a word, a breeze on your face. Most are forgotten, but some are stored. And when you sleep, especially during REM sleep. Your brain begins to organize. It pulls out the new, lines it up with the old, and starts weaving a tapestry of memory. But memory isn't a filing cabinet, it's more like a painting. So the threads get tangled. A childhood face may appear beside a hallway from work. A phone call from last week might echo in the voice of someone who's no longer alive. These combinations, strange, vivid, nonsensical, are not mistakes. They are meaningful associations, links being formed, ideas being refined, and sometimes insights emerge, new understandings surface quietly. Dreams help you learn, not always directly, but deeply. The emotional first aid theory, another soft theory, holds this. Dreams are the mind's way of healing the heart. Throughout the day, you experience stress, frustration, love, fear, hope, but you don't always have time to process those feelings. So they wait, and when the world quiets, when the lights go out, and you are finally alone with yourself, the emotions return, not as words, but as symbols. A wave that crashes over you, a stranger who holds your hand, an animal that follows, then vanishes. These are not puzzles to solve. They are the mind's language for feelings too vast. For daylight, dreams are not always kind, but they are always honest. They tell the truth sideways, and through that quiet truth, healing begins. Threat simulation theory. Some scientists propose that dreaming evolved as a kind of rehearsal, that our ancestors, faced with dangers by day, learned to respond better by practicing in dreams, running from fire, fighting, hiding, navigating fear. Even now, you may find yourself dreaming of being chased, of falling, of conflict. It's unsettling, but it may be purposeful, because in the safety of sleep, the brain gets to prepare. Without risk, it tests responses, explores outcomes, strengthens neural pathways, so that in waking life, you move through danger with more grace. These dreams may not feel restful, but they are part of your resilience, your brain's way of saying, I want you to be ready. I want you to survive. Dreams and creativity. The sleeping muse. There's something undeniably creative about dreams. You've likely felt it. A place, a person, a story that was unlike anything you've seen in waking life. Strange, beautiful, impossible. How does the brain invent so freely, so effortlessly when we're asleep? Some scientists believe that dreams allow for creative connections because they break free from rules. In sleep, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, order, and self-censorship, becomes quieter, and in that quiet, other regions begin to speak more loudly. Visual areas, emotional circuits, associative networks, ideas that don't usually touch, collide. This is why artists, writers, musicians, from Salvador Dali to Paul McCartney, have spoken of dreams as gifts, a place where the subconscious mind presents images and melodies, unexpected and full of truth. Even scientific discoveries, like the structure of a benzene molecule or the invention of the sewing machine, have been linked to dreams. In this way, the dream becomes a kind of playground, a space where your mind, free from expectation, gets to experiment, and often you wake with something new, not always useful, but often meaningful. The activation synthesis theory. And now, we turn to one of the more skeptical voices in dream science, the activation synthesis theory, first proposed in the 1970s by Hobson and Macaulay, suggests that dreams might not be messages, or healing, or creativity. They might simply be random. During REM sleep, the brainstem becomes highly active, sending out electrical pulses, as if testing systems, lighting up parts of the brain at random, and the brain, being a meaning-making machine, tries to make sense of it. It takes these scattered sparks and turns them into a story, a fragmented patchwork of images and ideas, stitched into a dream. Under this theory, Dreams are not messages from the divine or the subconscious, but the brain interpreting noise. And yet, even if this is true, is it not remarkable how the brain chooses what to show? Even if the input is random, why do those images arise? Why that story? Why that feeling? Perhaps a message is not in the spark, but in the shape we give it. Even chaos can become poetry. In the hands of a sleeping mind, the self-model theory, dreams as you watching you. And then there are those who see dreams as mirrors, not of memory, not of stress, not of random firing, but of the self. This theory holds that dreaming is the brain's way of rehearsing you, not just your thoughts, but your identity. It's called the self-model theory. In dreams, you are often the center of the story, sometimes watching yourself, sometimes changing shape, sometimes shifting from role to role. It's as if the brain is asking, who am I today? How do I feel about myself? What does it mean to be me? And in that space, free from outside judgment, your inner world plays out like a stage. Conflicts arise, desires take shape, fears find form. But always, beneath the dream, there is you, changing, evolving, waking just a little more each night. Dreams as problem solving. The sleeping thinker. Some researchers suggest that dreams may help us solve problems, especially the ones we can't solve during the day. When you sleep, your mind is free from distractions, no deadlines, no pressure, no linear thinking. And in that open space, the brain can rearrange information, see connections that were hidden before. It's like turning a puzzle upside down, and suddenly the missing piece fits. This is why people often say, let me sleep on it. It's not just a figure of speech, it's biology. In one study, people were better at solving creative word problems after REM sleep than after being awake for the same amount of time. Dreams don't always give answers, but they change how you look at the question. They allow you to approach it sideways, through image, through feeling, and sometimes that's where the insight lives, not in a conclusion, but in a shift of perspective. The continuity hypothesis, life reflected gently. Another soft theory suggests that dreams are simply a continuation of waking life, that the thoughts, emotions, and concerns you carry through the day drift quietly with you into sleep. This is known as the continuity hypothesis. It holds that there is no sharp divide between waking and dreaming, just a dimming of light, a softening of sound, a different filter on the same story. You dream of your friends, your job, your worries, your hopes, not always literally, but as echoes, symbols, shadows. Even when the dream becomes strange, a flying staircase, a school made of water, its emotional truth often reflects your inner world. This theory doesn't try to explain dreams away. It invites you to see them as a subtle mirror, your life retold by your soul in its nighttime language. Virtual reality theory, the brain's dream simulation. One final idea drifts through the field, a more modern, poetic notion that dreaming is the brain's own virtual reality simulator. While awake, you experience the world through your senses. You move your body, respond to sights, sounds, people. But in dreams, you still do all of this without moving at all. You see, you feel, you choose, and the brain constructs a world so vivid, so immersive, that you rarely realize it's not real. This suggests that dreams might be the brain's way of practicing consciousness itself, creating scenes, generating emotion, exploring social situations, rehearsing life, and maybe training for it. In this view, dreams aren't random or residual. They're an ancient biological tool designed to keep you aware, adaptable, and alive, even while you rest, to who you really are. Milky Way, the mystery that remains. After all the studies, after all the machines that monitor sleep, after all the journals filled with data, science still admits something beautiful. we don't fully know why we dream. And maybe we're not meant to. Maybe dreams are like clouds, meant to be watched, not captured, or like music heard underwater, felt more than heard, understood more by the body than by the brain. Even our best explanations can only walk to the edge of the dream, but they can't go in. Only you can do that. And even then, the moment you wake, the dream slips away, like mist and morning sun. The lucid edge. Some dreams, however, let you peek behind a curtain. In a state called lucid dreaming, you become aware that you are dreaming, and in that moment of awareness, you may find yourself able to choose, to fly, to speak to a lost loved one, to walk through doors that aren't real. Lucid dreaming bridges waking and dreaming. It reminds you that these worlds are not separate, but softly connected. Some use lucid dreams for healing, some for exploration, some just to feel free. But even then, the dream remains sacred, not a toy, not a trick, but a rare place where consciousness becomes as fluid as water. Thought balloon, the gentle invitation. So what do we do with all this? With all the theories, the symbols, the wonder? We honor it, not by explaining every dream, but by listening, by creating space in our lives for the dream to speak. That might mean keeping a notebook by your bed, or taking 5 quiet minutes in the morning to remember how you felt in sleep, or simply whispering before bed, I'm open to whatever comes tonight, because dreams don't ask for answers, only attention. They don't demand belief, only presence. You don't need to solve your dreams. You don't even need to remember them. Just let them come. Let them touch your mind and heart in whatever way they choose. You are part of a mystery, older than language, and in sleep, you return to it nightly, without effort, without noise, without needing to try. So now, as the lights inside your mind begin to dim, and your breath moves like water, you can rest. You are not just sleeping, you are dreaming, as humans always have, as stars always seem to do. And that is enough. You are not just a body lying in bed. You are a dreaming mind, woven into the fabric of a vast and mysterious universe. And dreaming, this quiet nightly act, connects you to something older than science and deeper than myth. It connects you to the breath of the stars, to the rhythm of tides, to the pulse of the cosmos itself, because the brain that dreams is made of the same elements as the galaxies it dreams about, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in every cell, all forged in ancient stars that burned long before Earth ever cooled. And now, those stardust-born neurons light up each night to build landscapes that no eye has seen, to tell stories that vanish at dawn, to hold conversations with people who no longer live, but never truly leave. So why do you dream? Maybe to remember, maybe to prepare, maybe to heal, maybe just because that's what stardust does. When it finally rests, it dreams. And you, gentle traveler, quiet sleeper, soft thinker, you are part of that pattern, not outside it, not watching it, but inside it, breathing it, becoming it, night after night. So dream without needing a reason, rest without asking for proof, let go, float inward, and trust the dream to carry you, wherever it must. For in the quiet space between thought and sleep, you become what you've always been, a dreamer at the edge of a very old sky. Perhaps dreams are not meant to be understood in full. Perhaps their purpose is not to inform, but to transform, not to tell you what to do, but to remind you of what you are, a being of layers, of memory, of mystery. Every night, the mind retreats from the outer world, from light and noise and task, and returns to its ocean, a place without clocks, without rules, without gravity. And in that ocean, you are free, not because you can fly in your dreams, not because time bends or people return, but because in the dream, there is no judgment, there is no name, there is only being, You are not your past, not your future, not your job or role or body. You are a flicker of story, a ripple in consciousness, a small lantern moving through fog, and that is more than enough. Some dreams will comfort you, some will confuse you, some may even frighten you, but each one is a fragment of your whole, a letter from yourself to yourself, sometimes in symbols, sometimes in silence, and though they vanish by morning, they leave a trace, like dew on grass, like the scent of rain, like a star just beneath the horizon. You feel it, even if you cannot name it. So tonight, as the last thoughts drift away, and the body releases its hold on wakefulness, allow yourself to enter the dream, not as a guest, but as a rightful inhabitant. You belong there. You always have. Close your eyes. Let the science slip into softness. Let the theories fade into the wind, and walk quietly into the story that waits for you. One only you can dream, one only you can tell, and one, perhaps, that will live on in you long after you wake. Waxing crescent moon, the architecture of sleep. Exploring sleep cycles, REM, and the sleeping brain. Every night, as you fall asleep, you enter a process older than cities, older than writing, older than most stars you can see in the sky. Sleep is not one thing. It is a journey through stages, a gentle sequence of states that repeat in rhythm, like the tides. Each stage has a purpose. Each one carries you deeper inward, and each one, in its quiet way, keeps you alive. Bed, stage one, the edge of sleep. This is a doorway, a light drifting, a soft descent. Here, your breathing slows, your heartbeat softens, muscles begin to release. You may feel your body jolt, a sudden twitch, a falling sensation, as if your body is letting go a little too quickly. This is called a hypnic jerk, and it's normal, just a reminder that your body and mind are adjusting to two different kinds of gravity. Stage one usually lasts only a few minutes, but it is sacred in its own way. It is where day ends, and dreaming begins. Waning crescent moon, stage two. The quiet mind. As you sink deeper, you enter stage two, the longest phase of your night. Here, your body temperature drops, your awareness of the outside world fades, but your brain becomes strangely active in its own quiet way. Tiny bursts of activity, called sleep spindles and K-complexes, flash through your brain waves, as if the mind is gently sweeping, clearing, protecting. Some scientists believe this stage helps block out noise and guard your sleep from interruption, like soft gates closing around the dreamer. This is the stage where the mind begins its deeper work. Learning, sorting, and storing. It is not flashy, it is not dramatic, but it is where the night begins to hold you. New moon, stage three. Deep sleep, the body's repair. Now, we enter the quietest chamber of the house. Stage three, also called slow wave sleep, is the deepest sleep your body knows. Here, your brain produces delta waves, long, slow, powerful pulses that flood the mind with stillness. This is the sleep that repairs. Muscles heal, tissues rebuild, immune systems strengthen, bones grow, energy is restored. You are not dreaming here, at least not vividly. You are resting, completely. This is a stage children spend the most time in, the reason why they wake with such effortless energy. As we age, the stage grows shorter, but even a few minutes can be profound. This is the sleep of recovery, of silence, of surrender. Full moon, stage four, REM sleep, the dreaming brain. After drifting through light sleep, through spindles and slow waves, you arrive at the place where dreams truly unfold, the place known as REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement. Though your body is still, your mind becomes vivid, color returns, narrative emerges, and the dreaming begins. The paradox of REM. REM is sometimes called paradoxical sleep because, although your body is deeply at rest, your brain lights up as if it were wide awake. In fact, in REM, your brain activity can mirror the patterns of consciousness Waves ripple quickly, emotions intensify, imagination ignites, and yet you remain still. Your body is gently paralyzed, a natural safeguard, so that you don't physically act out your dreams. It's a strange and beautiful design, the mind fully alive, the body in sacred pause, wind face breathing in emotion. During REM, your heart rate may flutter, your breath may grow irregular. You may feel joy, fear, sadness, longing, not as thoughts, but as immersive experiences. This is a theater of the soul. Here, your brain replays a day, pulls old memories from a vault, and blends them into landscapes that sometimes make no sense, and yet mean everything. REM is when your brain makes emotional connections, when it processes grief, when it releases pressure, when it integrates what cannot be said aloud. Some researchers even believe that REM dreaming is a form of overnight therapy. You go to sleep with a burden and wake with just a little more space around it. Not always, but sometimes, enough to matter. Last quarter moon, the cycle repeats. Sleep is not a straight path. It moves in cycles, typically 4 to 6 per night, each about 90 minutes long. You begin in light sleep, descend to deep sleep, rise into REM, and then begin again. With each cycle, REM grows longer. In the early night, deep sleep dominates, but by morning, you spend more time dreaming. This is why morning dreams are often the most vivid, the most colorful, the most strange. Your mind, having done its healing, finally gets to create. Dove, sleep is symphony. All together, these stages form the quiet symphony of sleep, each part essential, each part timed, each part designed to give your body rest, your mind release, and your spirit peace. You do not control it. You do not need to. You only need to surrender to it. The cycle knows a way. Your body remembers a rhythm, and your dreaming self is waiting, always, just beneath the surface. Babies sleep across the lifespan. Sleep is not the same for everyone, and it doesn't stay the same forever. From the moment you are born, your relationship with sleep begins to change. Hatching chick infants, a newborn baby may sleep 16 to 18 hours a day, but their sleep is scattered, fragmented. They drift in and out, feeding, crying, dreaming. More than half of their sleep is REM, which may help their rapidly growing brain develop connections, build patterns, and store early experience. For babies, dreaming may not be stories yet, but sensation, color, warmth, the mother's voice echoing in memory. Sleep is their language. Before they can speak, children, as children grow, their sleep becomes more structured. They fall into longer, more consistent cycles, spending more time in deep sleep, the stage that builds bones, repairs tissue, and strengthens memory. Children often dream in bright, wild symbols, talking animals, floating houses, endless staircases. Their brains are learning to imagine, and sleep becomes their creative playground. Adults, in adulthood, our sleep stabilizes. We typically cycle through all 4 stages, 4 to 6 times each night. REM dreams become less fantastical, but often more emotional, more symbolic. Stress, relationships, and daily life begin to shape the stories we dream. And though we may sleep less than we once did, our need for restorative cycles remains as essential as ever. Even when we forget our dreams, our brain remembers them. They've done their work. Quietly, old women, older adults, as we age, sleep becomes lighter, deep sleep shortens, REM sleep becomes more fragmented, and we may wake more during the night. This is not failure. It is simply the body's way of adapting to changing rhythms. But even so, the need for rest does not disappear. Dreams still arrive, sometimes softened, sometimes silent, but still present. Even in the last years of life, the dreaming mind remains alive. Some say it even becomes a bridge to memory, to meaning, to the mystery beyond. Candles sleep as a ritual. And so we return to the beginning. Sleep is not a task. It is not a switch to flip. It is a ritual, a gentle invitation back into yourself. Each night, you dim the lights, slow your breathing, lie down, and something ancient begins, a sequence older than timekeeping, a rhythm deeper than thought. You may light a candle, or read a poem, or listen to soft words like these. You are not preparing to disappear. You are preparing to return to a world you carry within you, but rarely visit when awake. Sleep is not the absence of life. It is part of life, and it brings you home. So rest now. Let your breath move gently. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let the rhythms of sleep carry you without effort. The brain knows the way. The body remembers the music, and the dreamer in you, quiet, patient, is waiting just beyond the veil. You've arrived. The language of dreams, common symbols and what they whisper. At first glance, dreams may seem chaotic. A hallway made of mirrors, a bird with your mother's voice, a door that leads into sky. But beneath the surreal nature of dreaming, there are patterns, recurring images, sensations, and shapes that have shown up across cultures, across centuries, in the dreams of people who never met, yet dreamed the same thing. Were these echoes? Why do we dream in symbols? And what might they be trying to whisper to us? We begin, not with answers, but with questions that sit quietly beside the fire of your inner world. Why do we dream in symbols? Dreams are emotional, not logical, and emotions do not always wear names. They were images, a lockbox, a staircase that never ends, a child calling from a distance. These are not codes to crack. They are mirrors. They are metaphors your subconscious mind uses to show you what your waking mind may avoid or simply not yet understand. Think of a dream like a painting. It is not meant to be reduced to one definition, but to be felt layer by layer, gently. So let's explore some of the most common symbols, not define them, but to sit beside them and listen. Doors and windows. Thresholds of the soul. When you dream of doors, something inside you is shifting. Doors represent choices, boundaries, opportunities, or the desire to move from one state to another. A closed door may reflect fear or hesitation. An open door may be an invitation. A door that won't open, perhaps a part of you is still waiting for permission. Windows are softer. They are glimpses. They let you look outward or inward without crossing a threshold. Dreaming of looking through a window might mean you're observing, not yet acting. And sometimes that's exactly what your soul needs. Water wave water, the mirror of emotion. Water is one of the oldest dream symbols. It can appear as a still pond, a rushing river, a flooding house, or an endless ocean. Why? Because water mirrors the state of your emotions. Calm water may signal peace. Turbulent waves may reflect inner turmoil. Floods might represent being overwhelmed. And yet, water also cleanses, heals, renews. So when water appears in your dream, ask yourself gently, what am I feeling truly? The answer may rise quietly like mist. Falling, flying, and climbing, movement of the self. To fall in a dream often brings a jolt. It may reflect a fear of failure, of losing control, of uncertainty, but it can also signal the need to let go, to release the pressure holding on too tightly. To fly is the opposite. It may symbolize freedom, release, transcendence of something that once felt heavy. Flying dreams often come when you are growing into a new version of yourself, not quite ready to say aloud, but already feeling the lift inside. And then there's climbing. Climbing can reflect ambition, challenge, persistence, but it can also symbolize a desire to rise out of something, to reach a clearer view of your life. Whether you fall, fly, or climb, the motion matters less than the feeling. Is it fear? Is it joy? Is it hope? That's where the meaning lives. Paw prints animals, the instinctual self. When animals appear in dreams, they often represent parts of you that are instinctual, emotional, or deeply rooted. A dog may symbolize loyalty, trust, or friendship, or the desire for protection. A cat might suggest independence, curiosity, or even mystery. A snake may signal transformation, danger, or healing. Across many cultures, snakes are both feared and revered. They shed their skin. They move silently. They remind us that change is natural, but rarely comfortable. Dream animals may speak. They may guide, or they may simply be. Wild parts of you walk in the landscape of your subconscious. Let them. They have wisdom. Houses. The self is a structure. Dreams of houses are incredibly common, and for good reason. A house often represents you, your psyche, your body, your inner life. Different rooms can reflect different aspects of self. The attic may hold old memories, forgotten thoughts. The basement may contain what you repressed or buried. The kitchen might symbolize nourishment, both physical and emotional. The bedroom may reflect intimacy, rest, or privacy. Sometimes a house is familiar. Sometimes it's one you've never seen before. But somehow you know it's yours. Wandering through dream houses is like walking through a map of who you are and who you are becoming. Grimacing face, teeth, vulnerability and control. Dreams of losing teeth are strangely common across cultures, ages, and backgrounds. It can feel unsettling, but it isn't necessarily a nightmare. Teeth are symbols of strength, communication, and appearance. To lose them in a dream may reflect fear of losing control, fear of aging, or anxiety around how you're perceived. Some psychologists believe these dreams occur during moments of transition or uncertainty. They are the mind's way of saying, I feel exposed, I feel unready, and just naming that feeling gently without judgment can help it pass. Mirrors, the truth we hesitate to see. When a mirror appears in your dream, you are being shown yourself not as you wish to be, but as you are. Sometimes we cannot see our own reflection clearly. The mirror may be fogged or cracked, or may show a face that isn't quite ours. This does not mean something is wrong. It means something is shifting. The mirror offers a quiet challenge. Can you face what is changing in you? Can you accept what you are becoming? Even if the image is strange, it may be true. Railway track, roads, bridges, and paths. The journey. Dreams often unfold as journeys. You may find yourself walking down a road, crossing a bridge, wandering through forest paths, or climbing stone stairs that lead into the clouds. These dreams reflect your direction in life, your sense of purpose, or your uncertainty about it. A straight road may suggest clarity. A winding path may reflect transition. A broken bridge may signal fear of change. But whatever form they take, these symbols remind you, you are in motion, you are traveling. Even in sleep, you are becoming. Flashlight, light in darkness, awareness and mystery. And finally, we come to light and dark, not just the absence of one another, but the emotional tone of a dream. Light may represent understanding, safety, insight. It may fall softly through windows, or pour from a glowing object in your hand. Darkness is not always negative. It can symbolize mystery, the unknown, the sacred. To walk through darkness in a dream does not mean you are lost. It may mean you are seeking. And seeking, even without knowing what you will find, is a form of courage. When faced interpreting dreams without chasing them, it's natural to want to ask, what does this mean? Why did I dream that? Should I be worried, inspired, confused? But the truth is, dreams don't respond well to interrogation. They don't give up their meaning when chased. They soften when listened to. Like a deer in the woods, the more gently you approach, the more likely it is to stay. Let it come to you. Instead of trying to decode your dream like a puzzle, try this. When you wake, ask, how did the dream feel? Not what happened, not what it should mean, just how it felt to be in it. Was it warm, cold, chaotic, peaceful? Did it feel familiar or completely strange? Those feelings often tell you more than the events ever could. Notebook a saw practice, the dream journal. If you wish, you can keep a small notebook by your bed, not to obsess, but to notice. When you wake, write a few words, not the whole story, just a color, a phrase, an image. You may find, over time, that themes emerge, symbols that revisit you, dreams that continue like chapters. You begin to see your dream world as a landscape of seasons. You are not trying to control it. You are simply walking it more consciously. And even that gentle act can open something deep within, canoe dreams as companions. You don't need to believe that every dream is meaningful. Some are just echoes. Some are just dust. But if you listen softly, you may begin to see that dreams are less about answers and more about invitation. They invite you to slow down, to reflect, to check in with parts of yourself you may have forgotten or ignored. They ask nothing of you except presence, and presence in this restless world is a quiet form of medicine. Crescent moon closing reflection, the dreamer's whisper. So as this chapter closes, remember, you are not required to make sense of everything, not in your dreams, not in your waking life. Let some things stay soft. Let some meanings remain open. Let your dreams be what they are, a nightly gift from the unseen part of you, a whisper from the edges, a moment of mystery wrapped in sleep. No pressure, no rush, no rules, just wonder, candle preparing the mind, gentle invitations for lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming cannot be forced, but it can be welcomed, like coaxing a shy animal into your palm. You don't rush. You offer stillness, and it comes. Here are a few soft practices you can try. Notebook 1. Keep a dream journal. Place a notebook beside your bed each morning before you even rise. Write down anything you remember, a word, a feeling, a color. This trains the mind to notice dreams, to value them, and the more you notice, the more vivid they become. Lucid dreaming begins with remembering. Even dreams you forget still leave traces, but recording them brings clarity, and clarity invites awareness. Practice mindful awareness in waking life. Lucidity in dreams begins with presence in waking. Throughout the day, pause and ask gently, am I dreaming? Not out of paranoia, but out of curiosity. Look at your hands. Notice your surroundings. Become still. This is called reality check, and if practiced softly, it can carry over into sleep. Then one night, you'll ask that same question in a dream, and the answer will surprise you. 3. Use dream cues and gentle reminders. Before you fall asleep, whisper softly to yourself, tonight I will know I'm dreaming. Say like a promise, not a command. You may also place a small object, a stone, a feather, a folded paper, beside your bed. Let it be your symbol. When you see it in the morning, it will remind you, you are a dreamer. Sometimes, dreamers even place gentle signs within the dream itself, a glowing watch, a flickering light, a book that never opens. If you see it there, you'll remember. Last quarter moon phase 4, the wake back to bed technique gently done. This is a classic method used by dreamers across time. Here's how. Set an alarm to wake you about 5 to 6 hours after you fall asleep. When you wake, stay up for 10 to 20 minutes. Reflect, write, read softly, then return to bed with the intention to return to your dream, but aware this time. This taps into a powerful rhythm, the REM-rich hours of the early morning. It works best when approached calmly. No pressure, just curiosity of navigating the dream once you're lucid. So what happens when you finally realize you're dreaming? Here is what many dreamers describe. 1. Stay calm. Excitement can wake you. So when lucidity dawns, breathe, notice, let the dream hold you. 2. Look around, touch the ground, feel textures, observe the sky. This anchors you, deepens the clarity. 3. Set a soft intention. You might say in your mind, I want to explore, I want to meet a guide, I want to understand. The dream may respond, not always directly, but with images, places, or people that hold the feeling of your question. 4. Flow, don't force. The dreamscape shifts like water, trying to control it tightly can break lucidity, but co-creating with the dream can lead to beautiful, symbolic experiences. You are not in charge. You are in partnership with your subconscious. Milky Way lucid dreams as soft mirrors of the self. Once you're lucid, you may find the dream opening up in unexpected ways. No longer just strange, but poetic, symbolic, emotionally wise. Let's look at a few types of lucid dreams that arise not from control, but from communion. Herb 1. Healing dreams. Some lucid dreams bring a chance to visit what hurts gently. You may find yourself sitting with a younger version of yourself, offering comfort you didn't receive at the time, or you may face a memory, not with fear, but with calm observation, as if the dream gives you distance, and in that distance, peace. These dreams don't erase pain, but they can ease its sharpness. Like warm light on a scar, they don't undo, but they soften. Artist's palette too. Creative dreams. Artists, writers, musicians. Many have spoken of lucid dreams, where ideas bloom like gardens. You may discover places that have never existed, hear songs you've never heard, watch stories unfold, with characters you didn't invent, but now deeply understand. This is your mind at its most fertile, not logical, but limitless. And because you are aware, you can observe it all, and sometimes even bring pieces back with you into waking life, like pocketing stars. 3. Meeting the inner self. Some lucid dreamers describe encounters that feel profound, not with gods or spirits, but with themselves. You might turn a corner and meet a version of you that feels ancient, wise, whole. They may not speak in words. They may simply look at you, and in that look, you understand something you've always known but never said aloud. Lucid dreams have a way of connecting you with the hidden rooms of your own psyche, and sometimes all you're meant to do is sit there and listen. Candle, a gentle reminder. Not every dream will be lucid. Not every lucid dream will be clear. Some will be blurry. Some will end too soon. And that is okay. Lucidity is not a test. It's not a prize. It's a state of presence. A moment, however brief, where you wake inside the night and see your own soul reflected in symbols, shapes, and sky. Whether it lasts seconds or floats on for hours, it is enough. The gift of knowing you are dreaming. So if tonight you wake within a dream, do not rush. Do not take flight too fast. Look around. Notice how the dream breathes. Notice how your thoughts shape its textures. And perhaps say softly, to no one in particular, I know I'm dreaming, and I am listening. That may be all the dream needs from you, and all your deeper self has been waiting to hear. Nightmares, shadows, and the healing mind. Not all dreams are gentle. Some come wrapped in fear, with chasing, falling, losing, with teeth and silence and shadows that stare. These are the dreams we call nightmares. And yet, even these dreams may carry wisdom. Even these dreams may be trying to protect you, or teach you, or lead you somewhere you've been afraid to go. In this chapter, we will not flinch. We will not dramatize. We will simply sit beside the darker dreams and ask them softly, what are you showing me? Spiderweb were nightmares. A nightmare is more than a bad dream. It is vivid, it is emotional, and it often wakes you up. You may feel fear, grief, guilt, anger, or a deep sense of helplessness, but these feelings do not mean you are weak. They mean something inside you is calling out, perhaps something that is long gone unspoken. Nightmares arise when the brain is processing emotional overload. They are emotional heat escaping through the cracks. The brain perspective. During REM sleep, when most nightmares occur, the brain is busy connecting memories, sorting feelings, and trying to make meaning. When your waking self avoids something, your dreaming self may still try to resolve it. And when the burden is too big, the dream becomes intense. It's not your fault. It's your mind saying, please look here. Please feel this. Please let this pass through you. Fog common nightmare themes. Across cultures and ages, certain nightmares appear again and again. These patterns suggest that nightmares speak a universal language, a language of shadow, fear, and longing. Let's explore a few common ones, softly with care. Fearful face 1, being chased, perhaps the most common nightmare. You run, something follows. You don't know why, only that you must escape. This may reflect avoidance in waking life, something you don't want to face, something you fear will catch up to you. But in many dreams, if you stop running and turn around, the figure is not always dangerous. Sometimes it's a part of you, a memory, a truth. What would happen if, next time, you turn to face it? Parachute 2, falling, sudden, uncontrollable, a drop through space, no ground in sight. Falling often symbolizes a loss of control, fear of failure, or the collapse of something once stable. It is not always about fear. Sometimes it is about letting go. Were you clinging to in your waking life that may no longer hold you? 3. Losing someone. Dreams of death, separation, or abandonment can leave a heavy feeling in the chest, but these dreams do not always predict loss. Often they reflect change, the end of a relationship, a shift in identity, a fear of being left behind. Sometimes dreaming of someone dying is your mind's way of grieving, the version of them or of yourself that is no longer here. Tornado 4. Natural disasters or chaos. Floods, tornadoes, collapsing buildings, uncontrollable forces. These dreams often arise during times of high emotional or environmental stress. You may feel overwhelmed, powerless, but even these dreams can be a release. They let your body and brain process what feels too big to carry while awake, and in doing so, they lighten the load. Candle, responding to nightmares, holding fear with kindness. Nightmares don't ask to be judged, they ask to be heard, and when we respond, not with panic, but with presence, something begins to shift. The dream may not stop, but your relationship with it becomes softer. Let's explore how. Palms up together 1. Don't push it away. When a nightmare wakes you, your first instinct may be to forget it, to shake it off, to say, it was just a dream. But what if you sat with it just for a moment? Ask, what was this dream trying to show me? How did I feel inside it? Where in my waking life do I feel the same? You don't need answers. You only need witnessing. Sometimes being seen is all a shadow needs. Notebook 2. Write it down gently. Even frightening dreams lose some of their intensity. When placed on paper, try writing the nightmare as if it happened to someone else. A character, a story, a distant voice. Name the emotions. Describe the images. You may find the dream shifts. As you give it form, you may even begin to understand what it carried for you. When phase 3, breathe into the fear. Nightmares often wake us with racing hearts, tense jaws, tight chests. Before you move, place your hand on your chest and take 3 slow breaths. Inhale through your nose. Hold gently. Exhale longer than you inhale. This grounds you back in the body. It tells your nervous system, you are safe now. And that reminder is powerful. Waxing crescent moon 4. Re-enter the dream if you feel safe. Some dreamers find healing by re-entering the nightmare in their imagination, not while asleep, but during waking in a relaxed state. Here's how. Close your eyes. Return gently to the dream scene. Imagine what you wish had happened. Speak to the figure. Offer yourself protection. Let the story end differently. This is not fantasy. It's rewiring. You are teaching your mind that you are no longer helpless in that story, that you can carry strength even in sleep. Repeat button 5. Understand recurring nightmares. If a nightmare repeats, it is not punishing you. It is persisting because something hasn't been processed. Maybe an old fear, a deep grief, a truth you're still learning to name. Recurring nightmares often soften once they're witnessed with care. Sometimes, just speaking it aloud to someone you trust can break the cycle. You are not broken. You are simply being asked to feel what has long remained silent. Dove, nightmares and growth. You may not believe it now, but nightmares can be guides. They are difficult messengers. They bring the heavy letters. Your waking self refused to open, but once opened, they often carry freedom. A nightmare faced is a fear dissolved, a memory honored, a self reclaimed. Even the darkest dreams come from a mind trying to heal. Milky Way, the gift hidden in the dark. Every dream, no matter how strange or frightening, is a message in your own handwriting. Even nightmares, especially nightmares, they are not curses. They are calls. Calls to feel what you have avoided, to look where you've not dared to look, to make space for forgotten, the fearful, the hidden. And when you answer, gently, without judgment, you may find that the nightmare dissolves, not by force, but by understanding. The dream changes because you change, befriending the shadow. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, spoke often of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we do not wish to see, not because they are evil, but because they are uncomfortable. Dreams invite us to meet our shadow, not as an enemy, but as a lost part of us. Try and come home. You don't need to fight the dream. You only need to turn toward it and say, I see you. You belong. Let's understand each other. That is the beginning of integration. Dove, a soft return. And now, the night is quieter. The dreamer in you feels seen. You've sat with fear. You've listened without flinching. You've honored the darker chapters of your dreaming life. There is strength in that, a deep, quiet strength that cannot be taken from you. So rest now. Let the nightmares rest too. They've been heard. There's peace in this darkness. There is softness in the unknown. Let your next dream come, not as a storm, but as a mist, wrapping gently around the soul. You have reclaimed. Milky Way postlude, after the nightmare. What happens after the nightmare fades? What remains? Not always the terror. Sometimes it's clarity. Sometimes it's a sense of having crossed something difficult and come out the other side, calmer than before. You may not notice it right away, but the next time you wake from a dark dream, try not to rush. Let the silence settle. Let your breath return. You are here. You made it through. This too was part of the journey. Yarn weaving darkness into light. Dreams don't separate the good from the bad. They weave all parts of your being together. The known, the hidden, the joyful, the hurt, even the darkest dream is part of the same tapestry, has the softest one, and sometimes they are threads of the same story. A nightmare may mark the beginning of a dream that brings light, or the end of a chapter you've carried too long. The mind dreams what the heart has not said, and when that dream is complete, the heart softens. Bell nightmares as thresholds. Think of nightmares not as roadblocks, but as thresholds, like doorways, into the part of you that is trying, quietly, to heal. And when you walk through them, you come back with something new, a truth, a shift, a light you didn't know you needed. You don't have to go looking for them. You only have to meet them when they come, and trust that your mind knows what it's doing, even when it feels uncomfortable, especially then. Crescent moon whisper to the dark. Tonight, if sleep feels heavy, if you fear the return of a certain dream, try this softly. Before you close your eyes, place a hand on your chest and whisper, even the dark is my teacher. Even if fear is just a voice, and I am safe to dream. Repeat it if you like. Say it in your own words. Say it until the body believes it. Let that be your lullaby. Let carry you to the other side of even the stormiest dreams, because there is peace there, too, and you are always allowed to return to it. How to dream better. Gentle practices for deeper sleep and meaningful rest. Dreams bloom best in well-tended soil, and that soil is your sleep. Just as we water plants, clear the room before a guest, or light a candle before meditation, we can prepare ourselves to dream, not by force, but by creating space. Let's begin with the most delicate part of all, the transition. 1. The hour before sleep, the gateway. Your dreams begin long before your eyes close. They begin in the final hour, when your body is winding down, but your thoughts may still be tangled. To invite better dreaming, treat this hour as sacred. Herb gentle suggestions. Dim the lights. Light affects melatonin. Let darkness arrive like dusk in a quiet forest. Put down bright screens. The flicker of blue light tells the brain it's still daytime. Do one thing slowly. Brush your hair. Fold clothes. Water a plant. Let this act signal slowing. Sip something warm. Herbal teas like chamomile, valerian, or lavender help body and breath relax. Lower the volume of your world. Play ambient music. Turn off the news. Whisper if you can. You're not prepping for sleep. You're welcoming the inner world back home. Candle 2. Create a dream-safe space where your sleep affects how you dream. A cluttered, noisy, overlit space can make the dream world feel distant or chaotic. Let your room become a sanctuary, not for perfection, but for softness. Crescent moon, you might keep a low-watt lamp or a salt lamp as your final light source. Place a dream object nearby, like a stone, feather, or small notebook, a symbolic anchor. Use scents like lavender, sandalwood, or frankincense to calm the nervous system. Keep electronics off or away from your sleeping space as much as you can. Your bedroom should feel like a gentle cave or a place deep beneath the sea, where the noise of the outer world doesn't reach. That's where dreams like to visit. Notebook 3. A dream journal. Whispering to the subconscious. Journaling is not just for remembering dreams. It's a way to speak back to the dreaming mind. It says, I'm listening. I care what you show me. I'll remember. Even writing one word, a color, an emotion, an object, strengthens a connection. You may write before sleep too. Tonight I rest. I invite a dream of peace. I will remember something beautiful. Your mind receives these as gentle instructions, not commands, like a song hummed in a familiar key. Over time, the dreaming self will respond. What a wave for breathing the body to sleep. Sometimes we lie down, but the thoughts keep turning. In these moments, the best invitation to dreams is not thinking less, but breathing differently. Try this simple practice. When faced, the 4-7-8 breath. Inhale gently through the nose for 4 counts. Hold that breath for 7 counts. Exhale slowly through the mouth for 8 counts. Repeat for 3 to 5 rounds. This slows the heart rate, calms the mind, and mimics the natural rhythm of sleep onset. You may not even finish all 5 rounds. Before sleep comes to greet you. Repeat button 5. Be consistent with compassion. Dreams bloom best when the body trusts the rhythm. Try to sleep and wake around the same times each day, even on weekends. But if you cannot, do not scold yourself. This is not about perfection. This is about pattern. The body remembers. The dream does too. The more your system learns at night means rest, and rest means welcome, the more vivid and meaningful your dreams will become. Some behind small cloud morning practices, bringing the dream with you. Waking doesn't have to be abrupt. You don't need alarms that jolt or routines that race. Let waking be a return, a slow resurfacing from the deep. Sunrise 1. Wake slowly. If you can, wake without an alarm, or with a softer one, a sound like chimes, or ocean waves, or even just silence and sunlight. When you first open your eyes, don't move. Just listen to your body, your breathing, and the last traces of dream still floating in your mind. There is a brief window, just seconds long, where the dream is still accessible. Be still, hold the feeling, then let it come forward gently. Notebook 2. Write before you speak. If you're keeping a dream journal, this is the moment, not after your phone, not after breakfast, but right away. While the memory is soft, even a few words can preserve a dream. a silver bird flying backwards. Someone was crying beside a lake. A familiar place I've never seen. These fragments may not make sense now, but over time, they form a map. Patterns emerge. Stories develop. Your dreams begin to speak a language only you can understand. Hot beverage 3. Greet the day gently. Before jumping into noise and tasks, take just a few minutes to sit in silence. You might stretch. You might light a candle. You might sip warm water while remembering the tone of your dream. This is not about analyzing. It's about carrying the softness forward. Let the dream tint your morning, like light shining through a stained glass window. Let its tone guide how you walk. Speak. Listen. You are not separate from the dreamer. You were last night. You are simply the next version of the same soul. Awakening. Blossom 4. Reflect without pressure. Not all dreams carry messages. Some are echoes. Some are emotional laundry. Some are just strange. And that's okay. But if a dream sticks with you, if it returns again and again, if it makes you feel something you can't explain, write about it, talk about it, or simply sit with it like you'd sit with an old friend you don't fully understand, that quiet presence is enough. Meaning arrives, not through analysis, but through attention. Dove, dreaming is a practice, not a goal. Dreaming is not a task to master. It's a relationship to nurture. You don't need vivid dreams every night. You don't need to achieve lucidity. You only need to keep showing up, to listen, to rest, to care. Every night, your mind writes story for you. Some are healing. Some are confusing. Some are just light passing through fog. Let them all be welcome. You are a dreamer, not because you dream vividly, but because you are willing to listen. And that willingness, night after night, shapes a gentler, deeper life. Some behind small cloud, dreaming while awake, keeping the thread alive. Dreams are not only for the night. There's a thread, a gentle current that runs beneath your waking thoughts. When you pause, breathe, notice the way sunlight moves across a wall. You're touching it again. The more you honor your dreams, the more your waking life begins to feel like part of the same story. Yawn 1. Carry a dream symbol. Some dreamers keep a small object with them during the day as a way to stay connected to the inner self. It could be a crystal you dreamed of once, a coin or shell, a word written on paper, a ring, a bracelet, or a piece of fabric. Let this object remind you not to analyze your dreams, but to move through the world with the same softness you carry when dreaming, to see symbols, to welcome wonder, to remain open to meaning. Water wave 2. Use daytime to reflect, not solve. Dreams often seem mysterious, but they are not riddles. They are feelings in motion. They are mirrors of your heart. And sometimes, in the quiet of day, you may understand something. Even while dreaming, try this. Sit in sunlight. Close your eyes. Bring one recent dream, the mind. Let play like a short film. Notice how your body responds. Now what your mind thinks. Sometimes the emotion you feel is the meaning. 3. Create from your dreams. Dreams don't only want to be remembered. Sometimes they want to be expressed. You don't have to be an artist. You can sketch a landscape from the dream. Write a poem in the voice of a dream figure. Cook a meal using a dream ingredient. Hum the melody you heard in the dream wind. Move your body the way you moved while flying. These small acts bring the dream into the body, into the breath, into life. And when the dreaming mind sees this, it responds with more vivid gifts. You've shown that you're listening. 4. Be gentle with forgetting. There will be days when you forget your dreams entirely. That's okay. That's part of the rhythm. The dreaming mind does not perform on command. It trusts silence. It loves patience. When you forget a dream, don't treat it like a failure. Treat it like a rest. Even sleep needs sleep. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your dreaming life is to take a break, to live lightly, to trust that it will return when you're ready. It always does. crescent moon a ritual to end the day. Let's close this chapter with a simple evening ritual you can repeat each night. Dim the lights. Place your phone out of reach. Breathe in for 4, out for 6. Say aloud or silently, "Tonight I rest. Tonight I welcome whatever dreams come. I do not need to understand, only to receive." Sleep is of sinking into a warm tide. Let go, let go, let go. And in the quiet dark, let the dreams come to you, not as puzzles to solve, but as gift to feel. Sleep well until next time. Keep wandering.